Welcome in, everybody. Heritage Showcase auction tonight. The Pioneers of Home Video Games Showcase auction. Mostly Atari, but we also got some Commodore 64 and Television. We got some fun stuff mixed in there. High-grade, rare games. It should be interesting tonight. Should be interesting. Welcome in, everybody. Good to have you join me again here on a Thursday evening. Anime Wholesale, Power Collectors, Ren X Machina. Here comes Comic Super Junk, Kevin Gann, Addy's World, Craig Cosmo, Gambit. Good to see you guys in here. Good to see you all in here for the Thursday night auction. VGDB, good to see you in here, man. Yo, Flaky Croissant, it's going well. It's going well. Always fun when there's multiple auctions. I always look forward to the showcase auctions because you just don't know what's going to happen. Like, you just don't. These auctions are much more, there's always the chance something pops. They're much more volatile, put it that way. You're much more disappointed I didn't bring in Mike for the Atari pump. This is definitely an auction where I need my the co-host Mike here. No doubt. No doubt, undamned. One day we'll bring Mike on the stream. Or do an interview with him. One or the other. But before we get going here, we got 30 seconds. As you guys know, tonight's auction is sponsored by Heritage Auctions. Huge thanks to them for sponsoring the stream tonight. If you're interested in consigning with Heritage Auctions, in the description of this video, you can find all of the schedule for the 2022 Showcase and Signatures auctions, as well as the consignment deadlines that are coming up. The closest deadlines right now are for the 6th Generation and Beyond Summer Video Game Showcase auction, as well as the Worldwide Sports Video Game Showcase auction. Deadline for the 6th Gen is coming up July 7th. The Sports Video Game auction deadline, July 21st. Also, consignments are now open for the November Signature auction. I know it seems like it's a while away, but it takes a long time to curate those auctions. So, if you're interested in consigning for hopefully one of those auctions, and of course, Heritage Weekly auctions run every week, you can consign for those as well. If you're interested in consigning for any of these auctions, please do reach out with this link right here. I'm going to post it in the chat as well. Free appraisals for everybody. Use that link there. And if you have any questions regarding the consignment process, you can reach out right there. Videogames@ha.com. Heritage is standing by to answer any questions you guys might have. Thank you to Heritage for sponsoring tonight's auction, and this should be a good one. Starting off, Donkey Kong Atari 400-800 home computer, right? Is that how they marketed the Atari? Yeah, Atari home computer 400-800. Atari home computer is a console that I never owned, actually. Never got around to buying an Atari 400-800. Never had the chance to. And if you guys are like, oh, well, that's because you don't do anything with, you know, pre-Nintendo stuff. I have owned and played a Commodore 64. I still own a frickin' Atom computer in my collection, in my Baron storage. So don't you be telling me it's because I don't do pre-Nintendo stuff.
Next lot.
Half you people probably don't even know what a frickin' Atom computer is. Your console was an Atari 400? That's insane. That's insane, man. The Donkey Kong sold for $1,440, VGA 85. Moving on to some early MS-DOS computer games. I didn't own a computer until Windows XP, so. Quest for Glory 2, Trial by Fire, VGA 85. Yeah, 40 years ago. That's what I mean, Hopper. That's insane, man. 40 years ago, your console being an Atari 400. Just wild. Absolutely wild to even think. The Quest for Glory 2 there sold for $384. Star Wars TIE Fighter, pretty cool cover on this one. It's actually 1995 though, which is a little bit interesting, offering several Star Wars games.
$750.
1995 on this one, not the oldest game, but pretty darn cool cover. VGA 85 plus big box. You guys know how impossible that is. You won the Quest for Glory, Carl. Did you play this growing up? That's crazy, man. Quest for Glory 2. Going to big man Carl. The Amazing Spider-Man on Commodore 64. And 128? I don't even know what a Commodore 128 is.
$650.
But this cover art on the Spider-Man game is incredible. Like, incredible.
Fair warning.
You're interested in the big box Spider-Man as you just bought it in 85 plus? Where the heck did you see it for 85 plus? Here comes comics.
$28.
Just sold for 720 there. VGA 85. That's nuts. Even on, you know, like I've talked about it before, even on a bad console like C64, it just isn't that collected as far as I've ever seen anyway. Anyway, this is also Commodore 64 here, Championship Wrestling. But if you go to a bad console and get something amazing, no pun intended here, with Spider-Man, like, you know what I mean? You can buck. You can beat being on a not very collectible platform by having a game that is freaking incredible. You did play that. That's crazy, Carl. You know, I always think, like, we aren't that far in age. You know what I mean? And then it's like, oh, shit, like, you age yourself a bit when you tell me you played this growing up. 1990, I wasn't even freaking born yet. Miss Pac-Man. 9.6, A++, Commodore 64, Atari Soft, made by Atari Soft for the Commodore 64. It always gets confusing for me when I read the boxes. You have all the different developers and consoles just kind of mashed on. Your first console is the PS2. You feel like you're out of place here. The PS2 is the first console I bought with my money, Addy. The PS2 is like my first personal console that I purchased. And I had to buy, like, I think there was a memory card 2-pack for like $80 or $90, which was just wild. The Myst Pac-Man sold for $552. Moving on to Myst here, VJ85. I do believe it's a later print of Myst because it has this banner here. A few people were talking about it in the Discord. But it's a Todd McFarlane cover. There we go. That's why that Spider-Man looks so incredible. That makes a lot more sense now that you say it's a Todd McFarlane cover. Picture with the Atom computer, it didn't happen? Yeah, I'll get that for you. I'll get that for you, Joe. You just got your big box Diablo 2 LOD back from VGA, got an 85 plus, but I feel like it occurred damage from being with them since January. I wonder how much they handled and moved around when they're there. Damn, that sucks that even in 85 plus you feel like it might have got damaged. Yeah, I don't know. It's so hard to say, Al Dunk, right? Like, and a year in their possession, or January, I guess 6 months. So, also, this Myst here, the 85. Look at the love this is getting. Whew. The first big banger here is going to Myst.
Fair warning. Next lot.
You paid $700 for your Here Comes comic? You did well. You did well. You were watching Quest for Glory speedruns recently? No way. The Myst ended at $26.40. PC Big Box. It's here. Activision Decathlon 9.4A plus no year blue blocks. Blue blocks.
Fair warning.
Konami Shark and Field Arcade Classic.
Next lot.
Highest graded copy they've ever offered. $204. They're still on Decathlon. Moving into Adventure here. 8.0 no seal glue seal.
$650.
This is what it is. Considered by many to be the first action adventure console fantasy game. I knew Adventure had something going for it. So, I knew Adventure had a little bit of notoriety.
$1,700.
You're shocked by the Myst price? Yeah, me too. How collectible are PC Mac games compared to NES? Oh, from one Greg to another, man. Great name. They're gaining a lot of popularity, Greg. Like, you know, historically they've been pretty niche outside of the biggest titles, but like, PC's becoming very collectible. At this point, I'd say it just matters the title. It matters what game you're talking about, right? Versus NES and PC. Like, they can compete with each other for sure. And this Adventure here, it's it's taking the lead here for highest game sold so far. We're cracking $3,000 after one more bid.
$2,800.
Excited to see the Mario Bros pop up? Me too. It's been over a year since we've seen the 1983 Mario sell. The first games you played were the 5-inch floppy disks. Jesus.
$2,200.
I don't... Like, Commodore 64, I played a little bit of floppy disk when I was, like, testing it at age 17, you know what I mean? Those were already out of my life. Floppy disks. Christ almighty. Adventure's about to crack 4,000 here. We don't have Atari Pop Report still, so I can't give you guys more details on relative rarity, but...
Fair warning.
Selling strong.
Next lot.
Selling strong, as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, 4,080 for Adventure there. This one is an 8.5 CIB. But this is 1978 print. This one here is a 1980. Right? Is that what they called this one? 1981 print here on this Adventure, the sealed one. This CIB is a 1978 print. Yes. This is where Atari gets really interesting when you start diving into the nitty-gritty. Because you can see this CIB print of the earlier print, right, is fucking... It's going pretty hard here, too. Like, we zipped over $2,000 immediately. We just zipped over $3,000 again immediately. We're about to pass $4,000. That's the fun nuance with Atari.
Fair warning.
You're shocked the Quest for Glory went for so cheap because it's way harder to get than Myst? I think that's just name brand, isn't it? Unless Quest for Glory 2 is a pretty big name brand game, but it's like, you know, me not being a PC guy, I obviously know Myst way more than I've ever... I don't even think I've heard of Quest for Glory 2. I think it's just a popularity contest there. You got a water order back submitted a month ago. Turnaround time was great, but all the cases have fingerprints on the insides. What would you do in that case? Never seen it before. You could reach out to Wada Larson. I don't know if they're going to recase, though, for that. Not sure if they'll offer you a recasing. The Adventure 8.5 CIB earlier print sold for $3,600. Whew. It just about rivaled the 8.0 glue seal later print there. Crazy. Adventure was the only game you were interested in and it's popping off. Yeah, you're not getting an Adventure high grade, Addy. Not getting Adventure in high grade. This game is rare and the grade is very high for it. Yes.
$220.
So it is, Chokeslam, so it is. The Adventures of Tron there, 9.68++, selling for $408. Air Sea Battle 9.2A. Second highest copy they've ever offered. Joseph Leo, welcome in, man.
$120. 100.
Is this a special auction? Yes, Lee. This is a showcase auction that Heritage put together. It's all pre-Nintendo stuff. Pretty high grades on it all and rare stuff.
$280.
Orange Box Atari games sells for a lot. Yeah, write that down, everybody. Write that down. Orange Box Atari games. Go find them. That's what we need to take away from that. The layman's man there. Orange Box Atari game sells for a lot. Here's Alien 7.5 glue seal. Again, just pretty cool. Pretty darn cool that Alien got a game on the Atari 1982. And you know, a lot of these, like I have to assume the gameplay on 98% of these games is not what's selling it. So D-Rob will be happy with the Myst price. He was listing it on eBay for $1,500 before this. Whew. That's wild. That's wild. Yeah, $2,640 for the 85 Macintosh later print on Myst. I think someone else said it in the chat there too, but that's the beauty of being first to market on some of this stuff. That's the beauty of timing some of this stuff. Who knows where Myst is going to go in the future, but like I'm sure the consignor of that's very happy. The Alien sold for $480. That doesn't seem bad, honestly. I think the VHS for this is selling for like 5 figures at this point for early print Alien. First print Alien VHSs. I mean, getting the game for $480 doesn't seem bad. Asteroids 9.88 plus $600. Here's Asteroids Sears. I don't know if it's an earlier print or just a Sears Telegames variant. I know the Sears Telegame variants are generally harder to find on literally every game. I'm guessing it's just a harder to find variant, not necessarily an earlier print, because this was an 81 red box on Asteroids as well. This is a 7.5 glue seal as well. This was 9.8A plus. So yeah, I can assume there's a lot more rarity with this one here. That Alien went cheap. This is very rare, very, very rare. The Alien or the Telegames, Chokeslam? The Alien or the Telegames is very, very rare.
$95. $100.
Nothing existed before Nintendo. Yes, that is how you need to collect.
$130. $100.
The telegames? Okay, there we go. That's what I figured, Chokeslam.
$60.
That's what I figured. When I was doing random Atari cartridge collecting the telegames variants, the Zellers variants, that was one of my favorite things to do. I still have a ton of those cartridges. I don't think any of them are like, you know, the really rare ones or even have that much value as a cartridge only, but I don't think I ever saw a CIB of any of the telegames games, like just locally, you know what I mean? No such thing as finding these locally when I was collecting all this pre-Nintendo stuff. Even just finding boxed Atari, Coleco, like, it just never came up. It made collecting pre-Nintendo hard. They basically had to import everything. The Berserk 9.0 glue seal, they're sold for $312. Here's Bump and Jump, 9.4A. Telegames again on the Bump and Jump.
Next lot. $100.
All of these are rare. That grade for Alien was high too. Alien is very uncommon, borderline rare, but major pop culture. Figured 4 figures there? Yeah, that's what I thought too there, Chokeslam. I just figured Alien with the pop culture relevance would get some more juice there. Like, yeah, it's always interesting with this stuff. It's always so hard to gauge. But I thought they were going to get a little bit more juice as well.
$170.
You sold your 85 plus gold Spider-Man Commodore for $700 on eBay. Nick Murray, the guy who bought it, is also in chat.
Fair warning.
The guy who bought that Spider-Man was in chat earlier. I don't know if he's still here.
Next lot.
But that's hilarious that you are both in the chat right now. Small world, small world. California Games 9.6A plus there, sold for $192. Moving into Chopper Command 9.4A plus.
320.
I'm trying to find you guys interesting stuff about some of these. Second graded copy they've offered on Chopper Command, that's kind of weird. With these Activision games, they all look common because they all look like, you know what I mean, the same kind of cover art, same kind of design, but here's Chopper Command again, 9.6, 1982 tan box versus 1982 burgundy box.
$340.
Highest copy they've offered of this?
$380.
First copy of the Chopper Command in tan box they've offered. Interesting. Interesting. Someday, sometime, there will be someone who publishes very good Atari guides for the layman man. Right? Like, it'll happen eventually. This information will be disseminated eventually. It might take 1 year, it might take 5 years, but I really do believe this hobby will get to the point of, you know what I mean? Where we'll know that the tan box Chopper Command commands a massive premium, must have a lot more rarity than the burgundy box. That stuff will be there. Crazy Climber is an R10 level game. Like, even the card is R10? Yes, I am aware of that, Chokeslam. I am aware of Crazy Climber over here, the 9.6A++. And I'm excited to see what it sells for. I hope that, I hope there's enough people still, like, in the sphere that know about... I said sphere like it's a 2-syllable word. In the sphere that still know about it to see this pop off, the Crazy Climber. But we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens.
$160.
Blue Blocks, why can't I fucking talk? Blue Box Mario is 5,200, came out a bit after 2,600. Red Box is first Brint.
$280.
That 9.8 Missile Command seems like a good bet. I think have we seen 9.8 Missile Commands come up in the weeklies though? I don't know about Missile Command. I feel like we've seen it. Oh shit, maybe not, it's an orange box. If you guys wrote down from your notes earlier, orange box means expensive. The 1987 print though. There's no way that Missile Command doesn't have like a 78 print, given that it's one of the numbered games. It should have a 1978 print, or at least an 81 print on the Missile Command, right?
$24.
Or do I just sound like an idiot trying to talk about Atari?
$32.
The Cocoa Nuts 5.0C sold for $360. The Chopper Command ended at $1,320, sorry. Here's Commando 9.8A+. Commando
$130.
I have to come out later. Yeah, 1988 on this one. I was gonna say because Commando also found its way to NES, so not sure how different the gameplay is on the two, but I can only assume it's extremely different. Yes, pick up Dragster in honor of Todd Rogers. Sorry, I was saying your name. Pick up the Dragster in honor of Todd Rogers. There it is, an 8.5 1980 print. Like, jokes aside, Carl, this honestly is pretty damn cool. Like, just owning Dragster now with how notorious the whole Todd Rogers thing is, Dragster's definitely been elevated in my mind. Pretty damn cool. Joe Kane, I don't know if Atari 2600 gets wiggle room for grades, or if they're graded on a bit of a, still got the COVID brain. If they're graded on a bell curve. Like, I don't know if you know, Atari is more lenient because boxes are prone to bowing or creasing or whatever. I don't know that. I've never submitted any Atari myself, which might come to surprise you. I don't know. Cosmic Commuter, Activision. 1984 blue box again, like I was saying with the Activision games. Here's one that is very clearly has some rarity. First time they've offered it, 9.48 plus. Moving over, we're over almost at $2,000 here. The Commando sold for $288.
$1,800.
Whenever Atari Pops come out, I think you'll see like 10 to 15 Pop 1s in this auction. Yeah, I believe it fully, Chokeslam. I believe it fully. I've genuinely wanted to look at Atari Pop reports, so I hope they do drop soon. I'm interested, right? It's just so hard for someone outside. Like, I'm so far outside of Atari knowledge that it's like almost intimidating to try and enter in and learn all of the small nuances.
Fair warning.
Yeah, Todd Todgers, exactly. I do mean Todd Todgers. The Todd father. Lives his life a quarter mile at a time. Yeah, Dragster's cool. Dragster's cool.
$160.
Cosmic Commuter ends at $26.40. Getting some love there. Here's Crackpots, 9.2A. Again, Activision published here. Maybe some of you guys don't know that Activision has been publishing games literally forever, which is pretty cool as well, right? If you're gonna go into Atari, you could just target Activision published games. That's honestly pretty neat.
$1,600.
Cheers from Mexico. Yo, what's up, man? Abner Yuffie. Cheers from Saskatchewan. Yeah, Joe who? Joe Mama. Got him, Joe Kane. Frickin' got him. Crackpots selling for $1,800. Is this the first time they've offered crackpots as well? Very first time in this auction. Yeah. First time they've offered crackpots as well. It's crazy. It's crazy with how much Atari we see come up for auction, right? That, like, there's tons of games here. Here's another first for Heritage Auctions. There's tons of Atari. Like, if you guys don't know how deep the Atari goes, it's the Wild West. Like, everyone was publishing games. It's insane. It's crazy. It's a cool time in video games.
$480.
Activision is when David Crane ditched Atari. Oh, that's cool. That's really neat.
$750.
Cool to see some appreciation on these big boys today. Yes, agreed. Agreed. First print PC games, like the big ones, they will have their day and they will go hard. So, they will go big. It's just a matter of, you know, them coming to market and then setting the point. Here's Crazy Climber, like Chokeslam was saying. Extremely rare game that has always been an extremely rare game. Atari Age mail order game.
$2,600.
This is one of those games where if you used to use the
Fair warning.
JJ Hendricks, what was he, just video game price charts? Crazy Climber. That 2880. That's crazy. That's crazy, Chokeslam. I feel like you would have gotten 3,000 for this back in like 2014. Kind of crazy. But if you would have used the old JJ Hendricks articles and you type in like rarest Atari 2600 games, Crazy Climber was always on the lists. Crazy Climber was always one of those games. It was like Crazy Climber, Quad Run, The Music Machine, Chase the Chuck Wagon, Waterworld, right? Like Crazy Climber was in that bunch of games. It's crazy seeing that it did not, I don't know. Just feels like it should sell for more for how notorious it was for so long.
$550, $600.
You feel like Atari games shouldn't be included in other auctions and only have their own auctions? Draws a different crowd? It kind of is a different crowd. I do agree with that. Crypts of Chaos 7.5 No Seal Glue Seal. First time they've offered it. Again. Sold for $660 there in the 7.5.
$42.
Atari collectors must just be rejoicing that all of these games are finally coming to auction.
$60.
You know what I mean? I'm sure there's a lot of games here that long-time Atari collectors have been waiting for. You're not welcome here, old man. Exactly. Yo, Empire J Red. Atari's so niche, hard for me to see continued demand for them. Yeah, you get like it's one of those things where the games themselves have to have the provenance or notoriety to like have a story about them, right? Because you can always make something interesting if it has story or notoriety or provenance beyond simply being an Atari game. So that's like when I was talking about Alien earlier, right? It's tied to the popular IP of Alien, like it has pop culture relevance well beyond simply being an Atari 2600 game. It's also how we were talking about Dragster now, with how infamous Todd Rogers is and the whole scandal there. Those are the types of, even when I'm doing NES collecting, Super Nintendo collecting, any of that, if you want to hold something for the next 10 years, say, in the next 20 years, you want to try and find items that have the provenance to become something bigger or to maintain itself. Do you know what I mean? Like, provenance, relevancy, notoriety will always have a story. Stories sell. So if you can find something from Atari, NES, Super Nintendo that will always have a story, history attached to it, those are the games that I'm always interested in. But Crystal Castle sold for $159, 9.6A plus. Deadly Duck, 9.2 No Seal Glue Seal. This cover art's actually kind of incredible. Just bring this up a little bit closer here for us to enjoy. Atari box. Atari cover art doesn't miss, I will say that. Deadly Duck. Mind the shotgun in the duck's mouth. It's crazy. Moving over $1,000 here on Deadly Duck.
$1,100.
Exactly, Greg. Low relevance on Atari's titles. Agreed completely. Like Adventure, for example. It's a really sweet game. The majority of Atari games seem to be pretty unnoteworthy. Well said. We're still early. People told me I was a crazy when God of War would go crazy. All other hobbies. Yeah, like it's just buy stuff they didn't grow up with. Yes, 100%. Like people can obviously buy stuff they didn't grow up with. It's just like if you want someone to take interest in something that they didn't grow up with, you need a story to tell them. Right? A story to sell them. It's a lot harder for someone to just walk in and be like, oh, this game is an Atari 2600 game. Like, if there's nothing there, there's nothing there. And that's not like a video game specific thing. That's all hobbies. As the age that like really grew up with the stuff, now the nostalgia for the stuff fades out, as they get older, as they die,
$80, $85.
You know, you have to have a reason for the stuff to still be sold to people.
$90.
Deadly Duck ended at $1,560. Pretty impressive. Here is Der Postman. 1983 German.
Next lot.
I don't know, $114 there. I can't even pretend to tell you guys anything about Der Postman. So,
$10.
Dice Puzzle, Sancho, PAL version.
$34. $30, $40, $50, $50, $60, $65.
I thought the price on this was exploding until I realized we hadn't cracked $100 yet. First time they've offered it for sale. Harder to find game.
$80. $85.
I don't know.
$90.
When someone tells me a sweet story about games that makes it cool or interesting, for some reason that makes me want to buy the thing so damn fast. Exactly. I couldn't agree more, man. I couldn't agree more. As soon as you have that story attached to the item, it's like, damn, I want one of those in the collection.
$120.
Like, even in my collection, I have a CIB copy of War Games for the Atari. I think that's really cool. I think the movie's really neat. I think it's cool that it's a tie-in. You know what I mean?
Fair warning. 100.
There's some stuff like that where, like, I'm drawn to it as well. You looking to try for any games tonight? I want to see you get some since the chat normally snipes you. Daniel, I said it in the last auction. If I am going for anything, unfortunately, I can't really tell you guys ahead of time.
$180.
I don't want to put a delay on the stream because it's better if I'm actually live, you know what I mean? So I can't tell you guys if I'm going for anything because it creates that, like, oh shit, why is Greg looking at this? You know what I mean? It's can't do it. Can't tell you guys if I'm going for anything, so I'm just gonna have to bid in the moment. Sorry, Daniel.
$650. $700.
How's the biddings? Pretty decent so far, man. Like, we're seeing some good items so far. I think the highest we have here is the Adventure at 4,000.
$900.
Yeah, I think Adventure at 4,000 here is still holding down the top game, the 8.0 no seal glue seal, and the CIB one got really damn close at the 1978 print at 3,600. So I mean, these are like these, you know, these aren't a joke. These are premium ass Atari games coming up for auction. Here's Dolphin.
Next lot.
Selling for $1,200. Donald Duck Speedboat reproduction prototype. What is going on here? Donald Duck Speedboat went unreleased back in the day. Okay. This game was designed, programmed Atari during using the original ARM. Oh, the good folks at Atari Age using the original ROM for the game, released the reproduction copy complete with box manual and cartridge. Looks fantastic.
$500. $600.
Did Atari Age do a limited run on this? How many did they produce? Wonder if it says on the back.
$700.
Like, it just seems like a lot of money for a reproduction. You know what I mean? Reproduction copy, unless they're using the original. Maybe this is the only one they made. $900. Maybe that's the only one they made. It's crazy. I've talked about this one before here. PAL version of Donkey Kong 9.4 A++. Which, like, you know, normally PAL version I wouldn't care about, but like this is, you know, it's it's incredible. It's just freaking incredible. It's the best rendition of Mario you're ever gonna freaking see in your life, and Donkey Kong. So I will get one of these for my collection at some point.
Next lot. $240.
You love the War Games movie? You seem way too young to have seen it. I don't even know if I've seen the movie the whole way through Here Comes Comics. I just like know about it from pop culture, you know what I mean? My dad has had it on TV. It's just like, it's one of those things where I just know it from pop culture. So like we were talking about, I love the story about the game and the movie. Here's Dragster. Sealed copies of Dragster getting harder to harder. This is the first time they've offered Dragster. That's crazy. They even talk about Todd Rogers in the description. They know. They frickin' know about Todd. Crossing over the $1,000 mark here for Dragster. Like, I'd love to own one. I'd love to own one, but I don't have this much money. I don't have this much money for a meme, you know what I mean? I'm not that deep into collecting it. $1,320 there. The Donkey Kong 9.4 A++ PAL version there sold for $660, and the Donald Duck Speedboat reproduction sold for $900. And here's Dumbo's Flying Circus, which I think is the exact same story as the other one. Then released this yeah, Atari Age did this one as well. Made the reproduction copy. Pretty cool and extremely collectible. I'm just surprised how collectible these are.
Fair warning.
CIB Adventure is a non-payment candidate. Bidders might have thought sealed. These are like Nintendo Age Repro. They got expensive over the years as they came up less and less. So there are multiple release then, Chokeslam, hey? Like, I don't think any of the Nintendo Age Repros were literal one-of-ones. There were like small print runs, hey?
$30, $140, $160,
The Earth dies screaming. Tied for the highest copy they've ever offered of this game. From a factory 6-pack, 9.6 no seal.
200.
What a great title for a game. Have I seen the Millionaire Zoom call about the sports cards before the big price spikes? Something to look into, try and understand what's been going on. They explained their plan back then. I don't know if I've seen that Zoom call, but I've seen the Zoom call of like Mr. Beast, Gary V, Logan Paul. I've seen that one when they were pumping crypto punks. I think it was punks that Zoom call was pumping.
170.
You picked up Skiing on Atari 9.4 Blue Box for 180. I was happy with that. Didn't think it's a heavy hitter, but cool box art and one of Activision's first games. There you go, Emperor J Red, doing it right. One of Activision's first games is always something that you should like. That's an interesting story. For 180 bucks, I don't think you can go wrong. Unlicensed, it was unreleased. There are protos out there. I have a proto of one of them. I think maybe Daffy. Damn, dude, that's cool. You got protos of those. The Dumble's Flying Circus repro sold for $456. Earth Dies Screaming ended at $288. Moving on to Enduro, 9.48 plus plus.
$280.
Second highest graded copy they've offered.
$320.
Hard pass, lol. Yeah, I don't have that much money for Dragster. And yeah, they didn't even mention Carl in the description. Blasphemy. No, the Atari Age repros aren't licensed. At least I don't think so. I would assume not.
$60.
$1,000 limit for a meme? Not even $1,000. Not even $1,000, Power Collectors.
$200.
The 9.4A++ Enduro ended at $360, and here is a 9.0A Enduro with a rebate offer sticker.
Fair warning.
Don't know if that makes it an earlier print or a later print. Looks like they're both 83 green boxes. This one sold, like, they sold for the exact same amount though, which is sus. There has to be something there. 9.4A++ versus 9.0A. There's got to be something there. That rebate sticker. There's got to be something there. Fantastic Voyage, 9.4. No. Glue seal, no seal. You're going to see this a lot too with Atari if you guys don't know. Like, you're going to see a ton of this NS come up, which is no seal. Come on. Which is no seal right here. Because a lot of Atari games were manufactured and sealed without like any kind of cellophane or anything. The lid is just glued shut. So there's no other way for WATA to put it other than no seal. So if you're like, what the hell are all these NS games? That's why. Here's Fast Eddie and another no seal, glue seal, 1982. This game's never been offered before either.
$85.
Very interesting. I've never seen Fast Eddie before as well.
$90.
Curious to see what it goes up to here though. So far not getting a ton of love.
$95.
Fantastic Voyage ended it at $180 there.
$100.
You thought the title is just called Screaming? Would Screaming be a better title, Thane? WATA used to grade my VGDB reproductions, but stopped now because they aren't licensed. A ton of them are still in circulation now. I'm wondering about those Atari Age ones. Well, they also graded some of those reproduction Pokemon games, Nick Morgan, which I don't think they have any licensing at all either. It was the Liquid Crystal, I think, they were grading. So, when you grade through VGA, do you pick classic style or Clearview style? Clearview. Clearview, Philip. Classic style is basically obsolete. The protos of those Disney games are hard to find, but there are some out there. Not one of one kind of thing. Gotcha. I do love watching these auctions. Yeah, man, it's always interesting. It's always interesting to see what's going to happen. Think this Fast Eddie coming up as another Pop 1 candidate? Yeah, I would assume so. Like I said, I've never even seen the game title, the game name, like, you know, it just gets wild.
Fair warning.
Oh, he just meant a yes or no? Sorry, Daniel. Sorry.
Next.
I don't know yet. I don't know yet, Daniel.
$4.
I don't think so because I don't collect a ton of Atari in general, so it would have to be a very specific game if I do decide to bid, but we'll see what happens. Here's Fatal Run. I assume this is the only time they've offered this. We sold this very copy back in December 2020, but they've never offered it again, sorry. Fatal Run was the only 32K game released for the Atari. What does that mean? A 32K game.
$50.
Is 32K a publisher? Or is 32K
$160.
a type of how it runs?
$70.
What is 32K? Atari, 2600, 7800.
$180.
Williams. Winners don't use drugs. Yes. Say it with me, everybody. Winners don't use drugs. Don't you frickin' forget. Chokeslam, you still here, man? What's 32K game release mean? What do they mean by the only 32K game release for Atari 2600? I got another game where I've never seen it before either. Like Fatal Run. Never seen the cartridge, never seen anything with it.
$16. $20.
Yo, I appreciate you being here, Philip.
$28. $30. $32.
Everyone should watch the Atari Game Over documentary. I'll write that down. I'll watch it tomorrow while I work out. I've probably seen it before, but it's been a long time. And watching this auction has me feeling nostalgic to get some Atari in my life. The Atari Game Over documentary.
$55. $60. $65. $75. $80. $85.
You love the cover art on Atari games? Yes. Like I said, it doesn't miss. Atari game, like, box art is some of the wildest, craziest art you're gonna see in the whole hobby. You'd like Atari cover art as trading cards. That'd be fun to collect. Didn't Atari release NFTs? Didn't Atari do, like, some kind of limited NFT release? I don't know if it was, like, games or... They did something weird, I think. Here you go. You don't need to buy trading cards, right? You're thinking like a boomer. How old are you, man? Trading cards? Come on. Let's go buy some Atari NFTs here. What can we get? Let's go to the NFT Hive, I guess.
$16.
Let's dive down the rabbit hole here.
$20. $22.
Get some Atari NFTs. Get back to the auction in just a second here.
$30. $32. $34.
Here.
$36.
Let these load. You don't need to buy trading cards like some kind of lost boomer. Because it's 2022, man. Come on, load the frickin' page here. I can't even look at the NFTs I want to buy. Football, 1978, 8.5 glue seal there, sold for $149. Moving into Frogger, which is a 6.0 later production on the Frogger here. He's loaded yet? Here we go. Look at this. Why buy the real Waterworld, right? Like, why would you bother buying Waterworld when you can buy this right now for $13? It's only $13, you guys. Quit buying physical assets. Digital is the future. Oh, you guys. Hurt my heads. You guys hurt my head. Physical assets. Living in the year 2010. Bunch of idiots.
$50. $60.
Yeah, VGA submission process sucks. But don't worry, you guys. The new website's coming soon.
$120.
You have no idea? Yeah, I have no idea either. 32 kilobytes? Is that what they mean?
$170.
What the fuck is RuneScape? These are uncommon. That is a very nice grade too. Do you mean on the 8.5 football there, Chokeslam? I have to mean you do, given that it's a 78 release.
$200.
Did What If VGA launch the population reports for Atari? Not yet, Jose. Not yet. There is no Atari pop reports. I have to assume they're going to be like the next one to drop. So, are those NFTs complete in box or sealed? Those are pure gold, okay? There is no CIB or sealed once you get into the NFT world. There's only pure money, okay?
$160. $380.
You just won that Frogger? You think that might have been a Pop 1 kind of thing? Sneaky? It was the hang tab version? So you just won the Frogger, but, I'm interested... Like, I saw that it was a later production, because I saw that it was a no-seal glue seal. How early does the Frogger production runs go back?
Fair warning.
Cool pickup nonetheless. Like, Frogger is a cool pickup, right? Like, we talk about our Atari 2600 games that can transcend. Like, Frogger is Frogger. Pop culture, still relevant. And here's Frogger 2, 3 Deep, which is just a fun name for a sequel. $480 on that. Here's Frostbite, 7.5A plus. Second time they've offered it. Another Activision game for sale here. Get up to $500. Atari, the auction's lagging? I'm lagging. I hope it's not me lagging. Oh, we've got some lag. Let me know if I'm still live. Oh, you think it means 32K ROM size, Joe Kane? Okay, that might be it. That might be it. That is 32K ROM size on that Atari game. That was on the Fatal Run there, the only game released with 32K. Once you start talking about the technical specifications of stuff, I think I'm gone. I don't have that kind of knowledge in my brain. I'm a complete... I know nothing when we start talking about ROMs and stuff. Has VGA launched any population reports? No. No, they have not, Nick. Unfortunately. Fully dropped. Fully dropped. I'm using a wired connection. I have no idea. I'm sitting here home alone. The girlfriend isn't even home to fuck with the internet, so... Oof. Your guess is as good as my guess. Sorry about that.
Fair warning.
The VOD will have to be updated in 2 parts there.
$90.
So that'll be a little bit weird, so it'll take me a second to get the VOD up after this auction. But, let's just go back here and see where the heck we dropped off. Frostbite, the last item we saw there, 660. Then we had Ghostbusters, 9.4 A+, Tying Adventure as the biggest item that sold at this auction. Damn, I dropped off right before a freaking banger. There's nothing worse, that sucks. Then we had Hero as well. This is one that I was excited about because Hero is another one that's just like known rarity on Atari 2600. 9.8 A+ for 3840. Even the freaking 8.0 brought in 2880. Big sales there. Big sale. James Bond 007. Again, a game that just, you know, goes above and beyond simply being an Atari title. 9.4 C. Seal is barely holding on at that point. 1440. Kaboom went for $1,200 there.
Next lot. $160.
Laser Blast, WATA 9.4 NS no C. Orange Box, remember orange boxes are valuable, $840 there. The Mario Bros 8.5 A+ surprised me. Back in July 2020, I was saying on an 8.0 A+ sold for $7,800. In April 2021, the last time we've seen a 1983 Mario Bros box come up for sale, let's click on it here quick. Last time we've seen the 83 box come up, unless there's different variants on the 83 boxes, but April 2nd, 2021, a 9.2 A+ sold for almost $20,000. So I expected this one to go higher than 3,600 again, unless there is some kind of variation on the 83 boxes that I don't know about. The Mario Bros 9.2 A+ 87 box sold for $2,880 there. Here is Q*bert, 1983 silver box. Just the second time we've offered the 83 version release. 9.0 NS on it, and that's why we're seeing it here, almost crossing $1,000. Q*bert is, you know, synonymous with Atari as far as I'm concerned. Q*bert could be the mascot of Atari. So, pretty cool to see this.
Fair warning. $1,000. $1,000.
Then I'll continue with my recap here as we get caught up to where we're supposed to be.
Fair warning.
Yes, Jay, another date night with Greg. We are live, baby. Thursday night Pioneers of Home Video Game Summer Showcase. Hopefully most of the people wander back into the stream. Every time a stream dies or something, I know that's like a kill shot to the live audience, so. Slowly building our way back up, boys. We're at 13. That's... Oh, boy. Oh, boy. I'm glad some of you wandered back in here.
Fair warning.
This is the 88 red box, isn't this one? No, I'm thinking of Q*bert's Cubes. Sorry. So Q*bert just ended there at... Whoops, I gotta go forward to find it. The Q*bert just ended at $1,440 for the early print. This is now the 1988 red box, which I assume there have to be a lot more of these out there. 9.4 A+ on this one. And then we go into Q*bert's Cubes, which is another known rarity. Like Q*bert's Cubes has always been a very rare game, so I'm excited to see what that one's going to go for. Already sitting at $1,260 here with the premium.
$85.
Going back to the update here, we also had He-Man took the lead. Masters of the Universe, the power of He-Man, 9.4A plus $5,000 for frickin' He-Man. Wow. The 9.4A plus last sold January 29th at the Signature for $10,000.
$100.
The love for He-Man. Whew. I mean, that price is down a lot from the last sale, but $5,000 still seems really strong for He-Man.
$120.
The Missile Command, 9.8A++, the 1987 release, $480 there. I know someone had asked about it earlier in the stream. Pac-Man, 8.5A plus orange box, 81 print, sold for $2,880 there. 9.0 no seal, glue seal, 81 orange box, sold for $1,680. Interesting, there must be a variation there as well between the 281 print Pac-Mans. Oh yeah, you can see it. We'll look at those in just a second there. Here's Q*bert's Cubes.
$500.
This very well might be a pop one. First time they've offered it. Yeah, it's just rare as hell to find Q*bert's Cubes. And that's even like cartridge. Like the cartridge has notoriety as being just rare as hell. So, bidding already getting up over 3,000 here for Q*bert. You weren't here in the first place and thought the auction was out? Yeah, well, that happens too.
Next lot. $85.
Q*bert's Cubes there, sold for just over $3,300 for Q*bert.
$120.
Q*bert's Cubes. Very cool. Take a peek at the Pac-Man here. This is the one that sold for more, 81 orange box. With blue title. What is the... Just read the label here on this quick.
$70.
2D Pac-Man cover, blue title, flip-up hang tab, and it has shrink wrap. And you can see it's extremely... There's barely any text on the box, just says Pac-Man up here. Very cool. Then the other one that's sold here, this is a no-seal, glue seal version. White title, Pac-Man sticker. You can see, like, this is, you know, has the 8 video games, Atari Pac-Man sticker here. Pac-Man is up to the title. The actual variation of the box is massive compared to the other copy. The other one just said Pac-Man here, and literally no other information. So I have to assume that that blue title one is an earlier print there? The Pac-Man made no sense? Yeah, what can you tell me about that Chokeslam? Is that an earlier print? The earlier print high grade went lower. Oh, so this one is the earlier print right here. The one that actually has a game program written in the 8 video games.
$600.
That's crazy. I just assumed this had to be the later print given the price discrepancy between the two copies.
Fair warning.
That's wild, man. Here's Rampage in 9.6A+.
$160.
And here's Rampage again in 8.0A+. I do want to make a note here. Sports fans showing up for Pele's Soccer 2640 for the 8.0A. Another perfect example of... It's Pele, right? One of the greatest soccer players of all time. Atari 2600 game with him on it. That's pretty damn cool. $3,000 cool, though. Oof.
Fair warning.
Pitfall 2, 240 there. And then we're up to the Q*berts and we're up to the Rampage. 9.6A+ went for $1,800. Dang.
$85.
Revenge of the Beefsteak Tomatoes. We're all caught up. Welcome back, everybody. Sorry about that. We are slowly building back up. 26 viewers in here. About half of you have made your way back. Thanks for being here, everyone. Sorry about that.
$200.
If Atari games are pulling 5,000, the 90 CD games are undervalued.
$220.
Maybe. It's not that simple in my opinion. Like, there's a lot more nuance to that, but sometimes the games listed first just go higher. Yeah, it's weird, man. It's weird. Super weird. I think a lot of it just you bet, David Yoey, this is the spot for graded game auctions. It just, like how I was talking about the lack of information with Atari stuff, like that might just be the market being completely unoptimized, right? Just a lack of information as to which Pac-Man matters more, or it could be the market having more information that we don't know. When there's so many unknowns about this stuff, it's really hard to gauge if it's like an inefficient market, information disparity, or just a fucked up sale. You know what I mean? There's so much going on there.
Fair warning.
So Pele, you believe, is the first officially endorsed video game by an athlete. Okay, if that's the case, then that Pele is really crazy. That's another step up. Like, that's crazy in that case. If that is the case. And I think I just realized that I did not thank Takara for the donation earlier in the stream. Which kind of makes me feel like a jackass. So just give me 1 second here. Let me tag him on Discord.
Fair warning. $260. Fair warning. Next lot. $140. $180. $200.
There. Get that off for him. Never want to miss a donation or anything like that.
300, 400,
Oh, close the door here.
$550.
Interesting.
$650.
That's a new one. Transformers Shadows Rising Arcade Arena. It's so weird. Like, what, you know, bots are so weird. It's so weird. So weird what comes in. What an odd bot. Loving these Atari auctions? Yeah, so this one's honestly been pretty interesting. Yeah, the beefsteak tomatoes sold for 480 there. River Raid 9.88++ sold for 288. Moving on to Sequest, Activision again. Does anyone know how many games Activision published on Atari?
Next lot.
Because there has to be a lot of them. Like, I'm thinking like almost 100 if I just had to pick a number. 9.2 NS on Sequest sold for $1,000. And here's Secret Quest. Not to be confused with Sequest.
$38. $42. $46.
Transformers Shadow Rising Arcade Arena. So hot right now.
$75.
Peeps are stealing some games in here, man. Yeah, like 100%, man. 100%.
Fair warning. $80.
Sequest is super rare. You love the color of this box. Yeah, I want to know which Atari games are rare. Or which Activision Atari games are rare.
85.
Like I said, Atari box art doesn't miss. That's cool. Maybe someday I'll get deep into Atari. Maybe someday. Yes, cow in a pie. There's definitely been some spicy stuff going up. This is almost all an Atari auction, so we're seeing like we're seeing Atari games that literally never come up for sale. So there's definitely been some spicers.
Fair warning.
76 Atari Activision games. Wow.
$150.
76 Atari Activision games published. That's actually insane. So I wasn't too far off by saying 100. 76.
$420. $460. $500.
Crazy. Thursday Night Greg is like Christmas in June. Absolutely. Good to have you in here to Green Chiz. Hope you're doing well, man. Here's another Activision game, Skyjinx.
Fair warning.
9.4, no seal on this one as well.
Next lot.
This is one of the rare ones? Yeah. As we saw, sold for 660 on the Skyjinx. Here is Smurf. PAL version of Smurfs, though.
$20.
Oh, it's actually the PAL release of Rescuing Gargamel's Castle. There we go.
$26. $28.
Yes, don't forget to drop a like, especially now that we're on a new stream. You can see we're sitting at 10 likes. Like, it got crushed. This is a brand new stream that had to go live, so if you liked the other one, you need to like this one. Just saying.
$38.
Much appreciated, bro bean. Also, we did pass the on the hour mark, so I do have to say to you guys, thank you for Heritage Auctions for sponsoring the stream. In the description of the video, you can find the deadlines for all of the upcoming showcase and signature auctions throughout 2022. If you're interested in consigning with Heritage or even just talking to them about the process, you can use this link right here to get free appraisals on your stuff. If your stuff is raw, do include photos. It helps the process for everything. And if you have any other questions about the process, you can reach out to videogames@ha.com, and they're happy to assist you. Always taking in consignments for the weeklies. If you have crazy stuff, crazy awesome stuff, reach out about being inside of a showcase or a signature auction.
Fair warning.
Thank you to Heritage for sponsoring the auction and the stream, and thank you guys for all being here tonight. Get ready, those Snoopy games are gonna blow up. The Green Shiz is a good dude from the Pokemon card community. Great to see him here. Yes, he is. Damn, Brian, that's cool that you watched the Green Shiz. That's good to see he's getting his name out there. You're crushing it, man. Crushing it, the Green Shiz. Happy for you, man.
$50.
Yeah, the most expensive item at the moment is He-Man at $5,000. He-Man, Masters of the Universe. I can just show you here quick, Dole, if you're sitting there. Well, we finished for Smurfs here.
Next lot.
Kool-Aid Man also sold for $144. That seems like a steal for Kool-Aid Man, I'll be honest. Here is the English version, not PAL version, NTSC version of Smurfs in Gargamel's Castle for Coleco? No. For Atari, published by Coleco. Yes.
Fair warning.
Selling for a lot more than the
next lot.
The
$40.
PAL. Selling for a ton more than the PAL counterpart. Where's He-Man at? I can't find him anymore. He-Man was right here. No, it's called Masters of the Universe. That's why I can't find it. Not called He-Man. Here's the most expensive game so far. He-Man, Masters of the Universe, The Power of He-Man, $5,040. That is the biggest one so far tonight. You got the Kool-Aid Man! Oh, Joe Kane, I'm kind of jealous. I was looking at that item prior to the auction, and at $144, oh, that's a really cool game to own for $144.
$170. $180.
Cheers. Cheers, 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 dude.
$200.
You had me in your ear while playing cards with Demon Uncle. Now they have to smoke and whatnot so I can actually pay attention for a few. Good to have you. Good to have your full attention on the auction, Jesus. You're just in time to check out Snoopy and the Red Baron. You feel pretty strong about it? Oh, yeah. Yeah, seriously, man. What a cool game to pick up.
$200.
You know, like, I love those kind of meme games if the price is right on them. You know, this is the right kind of price.
$300.
That is when the price is right to pick up some Kool-Aid Man. I'm glad that that one went to a community member. Oh, yo, John Smith.
$340.
You used to love those Kool-Aid juice bottles, the twist-offs?
Fair warning.
Oh, that sounds too early for me, Chokeslam. I think the only Kool-Aid I had was frickin' Kool-Aid Jammers.
$1,000.
There's grading advice you'll ever get. Toothpaste and lemon pledge will remove scratches and blemishes for the game seal. You are welcome. Write that down. We're doing another test. Toothpaste test and lemon pledge. Toothpaste test. Lemon pledge. I am interested to see what lemon pledge does to a game seal. I appreciate that. I'm curious to see how it does. Snoopy and the Red Baron 9.68 plus ended at $3,600. Joe, you were not kidding when you said these Snoopy games are going to explode. Here's the 9.4A plus. Wow. Crazy. First video game featured on the Peanuts franchise, of course. That's crazy.
Fair warning.
I didn't think Snoopy and the Red Baron was going to pull this kind of price.
Next lot. $480. $1,000.
Or you could just use Gugon. Does Gugon actually do anything to help the scratches and blemishes, Chokeslam? Like I have
$1,300.
I've rubbed games, you know, I rub every game I own with Goof Off, and like, I don't know, it doesn't really do anything to scratches or abrasions.
$400.
You know what I mean? Like, it cleans it, which is good, but I wouldn't say it polishes it by any degree. Sorcerer's Apprentice, 9.6A plus here.
$1,000.
Very cool cover with the Mickey there. Very hard to find loose, much less factory sealed. Second highest graded copy we've ever offered. Moving over $1,600 now. Snoopy and the Red Bear in the 9.4A plus, also in for $2,400. Sorcerer's Apprentice there, just sold for $1,680. Here's the 9.4A plus copy coming up.
$1,300.
Seth, you bought the Frostbite and crashed your stream immediately. Yes, you did. Frostbite was the last game we got to see. I blame you, Seth. I rub games. A little bit sus. A little bit sus. The Sorcerer's Apprentice 9.4 A++ actually barely selling for less than the 9.6 A+. $240 gap between them. Getting a higher box grade versus getting a higher seal grade. Space Invaders 9.2 NS 1980 blue box, no seal. This has to be
$500. $550.
Slab says 78, but the 2600 port came out 1980. Yeah, this has to be the earliest release of Space Invaders, I'm guessing. With a 1980 blue box, I'm guessing.
Fair warning.
Private Eye got stolen earlier. Is Private Eye a known $216 for Private Eye? Is there something I should know about it other than it being pretty like it's obscure, right? It's an obscure game. Highest copy they've ever offered, third overall. One of the harder to find Activision titles.
$900.
I don't know anything about it.
$950.
I don't know anything about it. Comment, Joe Kane. The Space Invaders is getting some love, though. We're crossed over the $1,000 mark here. Agree, Joe, 100%. Went for 900. It went for 960 in 2019. Wow. Wow, that's crazy.
Fair warning.
That's crazy.
Next lot. $2. $4.
When you were in the military academy, you used to use toothpaste and pledge to polish plastics and remove or scratch. If you were polishing and buffing the plastic like spit shining boots. Interesting. Here's Space Master 87, another game I do not know about here. These 20th Century Fox games has a lot of titles that just I've never seen before. But a lot of them also aren't that expensive, which is interesting. This one's from a factory sealed 6-pack, so I guess there's some Space Master X7. I think it called the Space Master 87. I guess there's some Space Master X7 floating around out there. Ooh, you're about to be out, fellas. You won the Rampage 9.6. A runner-up on the Snoopy Red Bear in 9.6. Damn, Shroom Tune. Damn. You're chasing some of those nicer ones, man. Cool to see the Atari appreciation coming from you. Very cool. Congrats on the one you did win. Private Eye is super rare? Okay, gotcha. Yeah, it's kind of crazy that, like, Atari... Well, Atari was, like, the first console to see the big pump, right? Like, Atari went to Heritage Auctions really early, and, you know, we then went through NES, Super Nintendo, N64, GameCube, Wii, almost through a perfect cycle of booms. So...
Next lot.
I'm sure if you were to price check a lot of this Atari stuff, you might be able to find comps from 2019, 2020 that are doing better, or if not, like, tying a lot of these results. You know what I mean? There was a lot of hype around Atari in the 1920 there.
$380, $420, $460.
Atari actually started like a year into HA, I believe.
600, 700, 800.
Here's Activision Space Shuttle. Sorry, I was thinking about the timeline there of the Heritage Auctions. But 9.68 plus on this one must be another harder to find Activision title.
Fair warning. Next lot.
Sold for $1,000 on this one here too. Atari debuted early mid 2020. When was the first signature There was one prior to the November 2019 SIG, right? There was like a August 2019. Was there even earlier than that? Was there like a May 2019? I must be getting my timeline mixed up there, Chokeslam. Space War 9.2 NS Glue Seal, 1978 hang tab. Damn.
$300.
Interestingly though, still from a factory sealed 6-pack on this. I was thinking because it was such an early revision of Space War that,
360.
you know what I mean? It might not be have factory case packs available anymore, or like, we're getting some love. Getting some love regardless here.
500, 600, and 700, 800.
First signature thing was March 2019, maybe January. Okay. You won the tomatoes, know nothing about it, was obsessed with the Attack the Killer Tomatoes cartoon as a kid.
Fair warning.
Stampede is another stupid rare Atari Activision. Maybe Water Pop 1. That is coming up. Oh, coming up just right away here. The Space War went for 900. Here's Spider Fighter. This game was the loser of the weekly, I believe, wasn't it? $41 for like a 7.0 or something? I remember it was the last screenshot we saw before we turned off the stream on Tuesday. Unopened, 9.4, NS, orange box, orange equals expensive, never forget that. Let's see how this Spider Fighter does. When WADA notes glued lid, no factory sealed, that means the person glued the lid and removed? No. That means that is how the game was produced from the factory, John Smith. A lot of Atari games didn't have any kind of plastic wrap, cellophane, nothing like that. They literally just glued it shut. So if you see NS glued lid, that is literally like factory sealed for that game. Nothing nefarious, nothing weird. That is just straight from the factory, glued shut.
$200. $220.
Oh shit, Spider-Man's next. Spider-Man is next here, right after Spider Fighter. Oh, 9.8 A++. Atari Spider-Man makes its return.
Next,
we haven't seen a 9.8 A++ in a while.
$50. $700.
What are we going to do here? Dates on HA don't refer to printed date, but when the copyright was filed. When the copyright was filed. Interesting. Not print run dates. Atari has date codes on the flaps and hang tabs. NES copied both. I mean, I certainly trust Byerly on that if he's the one saying it. That's interesting to know.
Fair warning. $850.
That's really interesting.
$900.
And Spider-Man here, it's slowly getting its way over $1,000. Back box assembled upside down. Let's see what that looks like. Does that mean all the screenshots are good? Ah, that's awesome. The back of the box is literally upside down.
$1,000.
All the screenshots, everything. An upside down box on the back. That's a pretty cool error misprint, in my opinion. I don't know if that's going to translate to value.
Next lot.
My guess is no, it did not, because it only sold for $1,100. Here's 9.4 A+. On one that does not have a an upside down box on the back. They're probably talking in Clubhouse, Nick. Yeah, Clubhouse. They go live with the chat over there as well. Some of the collector guys.
Fair warning.
This Spider-Man kind of sold for a like $216 as a snag, is it not? I know it's only a 9.4 A+, but like $216? That's it? 9.8 A++, December 28th was the last time we saw one. It sold for $2,300. Like, I don't know. That $216. Like, I would probably buy that if I just saw it sitting there at $216. You know what I mean?
Fair warning.
Here's Stampede. Like Chokeslam said, another rare one, 9.6 NS, and yeah, it's getting bids as well. We're over $1,000 on this. I need a list of all the rare Activision games. That's what someone needs to make.
Next lot. $380.
Stampede ended at $1,320. Here's Star Wars the arcade game, 5.5 NS glue seal. Getting some bids for a 5.5 here, damn.
$460.
Very first time they've offered a glue-sealed copies of Star Wars, the arcade game.
$480.
Interesting. Interesting. Even at 5.5, getting some love here on the glue-sealed Star Wars, the arcade game.
$550.
First Marvel game, no-brainer? Yeah, like, that's what I mean, Here Comes Comics, right? Like, if you can pick it up at this point for $216, like, I don't know. I don't think the pop report will be that high on it, that, like, there's literally zero value, you know what I mean? Like, it won't be that high on Spider-Man, I don't think. Here's a 7.0 CIB copy of the game.
Fair warning. Next lot.
Big difference in price there. 600 for the sealed,
$480.
$100 for the CIB, which, you know, pretty expected. 9.68++ Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back. These are all really cool. Like, I would like to own all of the Star Wars games on Atari factory sealed, but, like, you know,
$110.
it's hard to, there's so much shit to buy. You guys know the struggle. You guys know the struggle. But the Star Wars games on Atari are really cool. Here's another glue seal version, Star Wars Jedi Death Star Battle. First time they've offered Death Star Battle.
Fair warning. $170, $180.
Very cool. 6.0 on this one.
$200.
Go take a peek at this. Yeah, that's awesome.
$260.
Like, that's just, you know, that's super freaking cool. that's just awesome. There's nothing else to say about it. 6.0 on it.
$320. Fair warning.
The Star Wars arcade is another crazy rare one. That was a good buy.
$360.
Damn, my thought was that all of these Star Wars Atari games were, like, you know, somewhat available.
Fair warning.
Somewhat available, but there you go. The nuanced world of Atari collecting.
$2.
$408 there for Return of the Jedi Death Star Battle. Moving into Super Breakout, and then we have 4 Supermans coming up.
$50, $60,
We have
$70.
first production, then a CIB next one, and then a Sears release of it. That'll be interesting. Let's see what Superman brings in.
$80. $100, $120, $140, $100.
Oh, this is 79, sorry. No, 78 on this one too, yeah. CIB though, okay, so we have one sealed first production, but it's only a 5.5. Then we go CIB first production, then CIB second print, I assume, and then CIB Sears box. So this first one is the only one here that's sealed.
$220.
Is this the same Superman on N64? I mean, it probably might as well be, man. Like, I'm sure the gameplay isn't that... I'm sure the gameplay is, like rivals it. If you want to compare to Superman 64. First comic book character video game, as well as the first movie tie-in video game. Very cool. Very cool. Surprised this is a 5.5. This actually looks nice. And that looks pretty darn... Like, this presents pretty well for a 5.5. Just a lot of edge wear is what it looks like.
Next lot. $170.
Sold for $1,440 for the Superman. Let's look at comps on Superman, actually. The CIB ones are up right now. Oh my lord. January 17th, 2021. 5 point... Is this the same copy? No, this is a 5.5. A 5.0 sold for $4,000. Back in the January 2021 signature.
$3.
That is a far cry from the $1,400 we saw tonight for the 5.5.
$7.
I knew we'd seen Superman before. That's crazy.
$20.
That's a crazy slide there.
$28.
Whoever bought that other one is in shambles.
$40. $44.
If I'm correct, I believe that Sean mentioned Atari is a dying collectible market. Thoughts? I went over it a lot at the start of the first VOD that I'll have posted. I went on a big ramble about how it matters what you're buying and the story, the provenance, the notoriety. Overall, as an entire collecting class, yes, Atari is not that popular. It's not that collected, but there are select pieces throughout
Fair warning.
that are very collectible and, dare I say, investable.
$110.
So it depends. If you just want a blanket comment like, oh, how collectible is Atari? Like,
300, 400,
you know,
400,
you can make an easy
500,
argument there that it's not the most popular.
$700.
But here is the Telegames Superman CIB. We had the 8.0 CIB Superman, the first production, sell for $336. Here's the Sears Telegames one, the 7.0, selling for much more. As we talked about earlier, getting the Telegames, much more rare release of these games. These drops are getting your hopes up for the signature auction in August? Maybe.
Fair warning.
Maybe, man. Do you collect or invest in other assets? Is that directed at me,
Next
Power
up.
Collectors? Or someone else?
$75.
The Telegames there, $1,000 for Superman, the CIB. Sword Quest Earthworld, 7.5
warning.
NS.
Next lot. $75.
Sword Quest Earthworld, 7.0 NS on this one as well here. What'd that just end for? 99 bucks? Like
Fair
the
warning.
Earthworld games, the Fireworld, these are really cool in my opinion.
Next lot.
I don't know,
$2.
$99 for them, hey? I need to buy one of these. I want to get
$3.
Earthworld and Fireworld. I think they're really cool. I think the story
$5.
with them is really cool. I don't think they're like good
$9,
investment, long-term hold type games. But I've always been attracted to the Sword Quest games. They're just super cool. The story around them is super cool.
$30, $40, $46.
Game grading will parallel comic
$48,
market when
$15,
game collectors start caring about historic
$55,
first.
$60,
Rarity is still only an
$70,
issue. It's a sought-after property. Just rare games are undervalued.
$75, $80, $85, $90. $95.
Yeah, like pure rarity at this point is not that appreciated. You need more than pure rarity.
$100.
Atari is neat. I wish I knew more about it. You and me both, Nick.
$130.
You and me both. Never seriously collected it, though I have picked up some games here and there. Yeah, likewise. I used to just casually pick up Atari cartridges, CIBs, whatever I found. But, like, I never seriously got into Atari. I never seriously got into anything pre-Nintendo. It was always just, like, it was always just cool, right? It was more of a novelty or,
$90. $100.
What's the word I'm looking for? Not novelty, but, I don't know. It was always just cool to buy them, but I was never serious into it.
$150.
Is it just yours, the Atari logo enormous on every Atari game? You feel like every listing coming up is called Atari? Yes. Never forget that they are all Atari. All the logos on this are insane though, right? Like, the way that all of these are stylized in the same form based on publisher. Yeah, they let you know. They let you know. Yo, Dev the Dude. The Lawyer Comic Collector wins both of the sealed Super and Blue. Not sure who that guy is.
Next lot. $7.
Taz there, the silver box, 8.5A plus for $228.
$90.
Here's another Taz 7.0A plus on this one. The Schadenfreude for the Crypto Bros is real. Hopefully Crypto Bros will move to collector markets because their money would be backed by something physical.
$130.
It's kind of funny how, like there is some strong parallel to be said with, you know, at least crypto prices as well as collectible markets. You know, I don't know if we'll see collectibles markets bounce again, at least as hard as we did until we see the crypto market bounce back up. There could be a very close correlation between those things.
$170. $200.
Will Crypto Bros move into physical assets like video games? I don't know. Maybe.
$380.
Crypto Bros are a different breed, man.
$420.
Here's Activision Tennis, 81 green box. They've sold one copy. This is the very first time we've offered Activision's Tennis.
Fair warning. $460. $500.
Pretty cool.
$700.
And it's getting bids. This is getting love here in the 9.2A plus. Activision Tennis.
Fair warning.
Very cool.
$700.
2 auctions in a row. Yeah, Goob Noob. Sometimes we get the showcase auctions. and those just happen throughout the week. So tonight is the Atari Pioneers of Home Video Games, showcase auction.
$850.
You think both of the Taz got stolen too? I think Taz is available, Joe Kane. I think Taz is available.
$950.
It's a 1988 release. Like, that alone makes me think you can probably get case fresh ones. But
fair warning.
Otis NFT'd a few games last year and sold them. Yes, and then got bought out and Otis House went away. Yeah, that was quick-lived. That whole NFT thing. I don't hate the idea of it, but yeah.
$160. $180.
You won the Pokemon Yellow from Otis House? You still have it? That's really cool, Craig.
$280.
The tennis there sold for $1,080. Now here's another one.
$20.
Activision's tennis. Very different design than the one that just sold if you look at them here. This one has a banner as well. A new video game cartridge for your Atari video game system.
Fair warning.
Another instance here, though, where I don't know which is the earlier print of the game.
Fair warning.
No seal versus having cellophane, 9.28 plus. I don't know. Chokeslam, man, if you're still in here. Any other Atari experts in here? I'd love to know the difference on these two tennis releases.
$700.
Oh, good point. Didn't check the release date. Yeah, it's weird. Like, the late release Atari games are super...
$800.
You just... I get worried. I always just get worried if I see, like, 1987, 88. I'm just like, there's probably new stock out there somewhere.
Fair warning.
Almost got stuck on the side of the base of a gorge today. Had to use all my strength and power to get myself out. I think something... Jesus, man. That sounds terrifying. Funny enough, Goob, I've been watching, like, caving disasters and mountain climbing disaster videos on YouTube recently. I got... The algorithm hit me with them. And I've been binge watching, so it's funny you bring that up when I've been binge watching stuff like that.
$1,200.
Pretty crazy. And the tennis here, the no seal 8.5 has exceeded the other one that sold.
Fair warning.
So, I don't know. I don't know if it's earlier or just rarer.
Next lot.
You know, it's weird. Atari is largely driven by absolute rarity as well.
$20.
So it's hard to say which one here, but $1,320 for the 8.5 NS on that one. Here's Turbo 9.8 NS.
48, 50, 60,
Reproduction,
70,
Atari Age 27 release. Interesting, another one of those. This one not getting nearly the love, though, that the Daffy Duck and the Dumbo got.
Next lot.
You've been binging those cave diving disasters videos, too? Let's go. Let's go. I don't know why they came up in my recommendations, but I got hit by, like, fascinating horror and
$100.
Scary Interesting is the other channel. Those are the two I've been binge watching. Fascinating horror and Scary Interesting. Great stories, great stories. Crazy stories, sad stories, but, like, it's nuts. Stuff's nuts. Caving is nuts. Scary Interesting. Good. Yes, you've been watching the same one as me. Good stuff. Yo, Roman Rubin. No problem, man. From Puerto Rico, thanks for everything. I appreciate you, dude.
Fair warning.
Thanks for popping in tonight. The Turbo reproduction there only sold for $104. Here's Tutankhamun 9.8 A+ on this one. Tutankhamun is really rare on Coleco?
$180.
Does that sound right? Or is it is it like Tutankhamun something that's a really rare one? I remember Tutankhamun having some degree of rarity on one of these pre-Nintendo consoles. But it must not be Atari based on what the bidding action is here. You're binging airline disasters? Wonder, Flight Channel, and Smithsonian on YouTube? Yeah, that's crazy. I wonder why that's getting such a pump right now from the algorithm. These disaster channels.
Fair warning.
This is hard to find this version?
Next lot.
When, if VGA finally release their pop reports, how do we figure out the amount of crossovers? Yeah, that's the biggest issue, S-Block. We simply can't. You know, anyone who wants to say it's 30%, 50%, 70%, like, it's all just guesses. So, this is the hang tab version on Tutankhamun. Isn't this game, like, even as a cartridge, much more rare on a different kind of console, though? Unless you're talking about Video Olympics here.
320, 360,
Pong for the Atari 2600. There are 50 variations of the theme included in this Atari 2600 launch title. An Atari 2600 launch title. 9.2, no seal, glue seal. Don't know if it's the earliest print though.
280,
456 for that one. Here's Warlords, 9.6 A++ from a factory 6-pack.
Fair warning.
Oh, Power Collectors, that promote, the whole message about promotion is just to stop bots. That's the only reason that's there. And I mean, really, like, you know, don't self-promote your stuff in my channel, but otherwise, like, it purely exists to stop bots.
$40.
Because you have to acknowledge it. So you have to be a human first, and then you can't.
$160.
Then you can't message. Worm War 1. It's got to be rare as hell. It just has to be. Everything about this looks like a rare Atari game.
$240, $260.
First time they've offered it. 8.0. No seal, glue seal, of course. Let's look at the box art here.
$280.
You know when you just look at something and you're like, wow, that's probably, if not very uncommon, rare. Atari box art. It just doesn't miss. It just doesn't miss, you guys. Worm War selling for 336 there. The Warlord sold for 384. Here's X-Man. Easily just took the title of the most expensive game tonight. Wow. This is one of few Atari porn games, I do believe.
Next lot.
Let's look at the back cover art here. Well, first let's look at the front cover. Both deserve to be appreciated. So there's the front cover. Yes, an adult video game for the Atari 2600. Adults only. Sale to minors prohibited.
$280.
So much like the NES porn games that were released, there's also Atari porn games.
Fair warning. Next lot.
Coming at you are the crabs, but there's claws ready to tear your privates apart. There you go, everybody. X-Man, $7,800 to own. Crazy. That's crazy. I love shit like that, though. Like, you know, that is just... It's just cool.
$140.
It's just cool. Am I thinking of Montezuma's Revenge? I very well might be, Chokeslam. I might be thinking of Montezuma's Revenge. You're probably right. Let me see what the cover art on that one looks like. If it's also like an Egyptian-style cover art, then I probably am thinking of Montezuma. Just see here. They didn't want to take the revenge there? Oh, I don't want what? I want Atari.
$80.
Yes, I am thinking of Montezuma's Revenge. But isn't there...
$320.
Can't you also get Tutankhamun with this style box? Fuck. My mind is just jumbled. I'm jumbled on them, man. Yar's Revenge 9.28++ orange box there for $312. Here's 9.4 no seal glue seal Yar's Revenge. Glue seals seemed like they're outselling the cellophane versions in most instances. This one is following suit as well, but it's also a higher grade, so it just kind of makes sense it's outselling. Do you guys think the VGA even has the data of what games they've graded? I kind of think they may not even know themselves and be super disorganized with it. Yeah, Nick, I expect them to be very disorganized with it because even with their variant cataloging, they were awful for years. They were awful with their variant tracking for years. So when the VGA pop reports do drop, I expect more just like a bulk number, like not super nuanced. You know what I mean? But we'll just get like, oh, there's this many of this game, but that doesn't break down. Like Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, for example, right? We'll get the VGA pop report. I don't think we're going to have all 5 or 6 variants, whatever, broken down. I'd be baffled if they do.
$500.
But we'll see. We'll see. Adult stuff was hot in the late 70s, early 80s. Pre-VHS movies, etc. Yeah, it's nuts. 1.5 times difference between the Tutankhamun
$650.
9.8 A plus today and the 9.8 A plus plus sold 2 days ago. Is 1.5x normal on A plus versus A plus plus? That's really hard to say, Adam Knife. Like, the jump from A plus to A plus plus could honestly be a 2x jump.
Next lot.
Yeah, like yeah, there you go. Chokeslam put it well there. It can be a massive price difference between the two, depends on the game, the pop report, etc.
Fair warning.
It just can be very crazy how much it can jump.
Next lot.
That was a factory 6-pack of Asteroids for $780 there. Beam Rider 9.2A plus, another Activision game, $276. And here's Gremlins, 9.6 no seal, glue seal.
$320.
Oh, 50, no. Yeah, 5200 version, sorry. Are we bumping into Atari 5200 now? Yes, that was the end of 2600. These coming up now are 5200 games.
$400.
So Atari 2600 is like, you know, pretty collectible, pretty collected. It has people who love it. Like, there's a strong audience there. Once you get into 5200 and 7800, it gets even more niche. But there are still rarities on both of those consoles, and I don't know a lot about the factory sealed relativity of those games.
$50.
I owned an Atari 5200 for a little bit. I owned a 7800 for a little bit, but I sold them both off years ago.
Fair warning.
It was just getting too niche for me.
Next lot. $55, $60, $70, $80, $90.
Did CGA, AFA, VGA promise they would publish pop reports? And if so, when did they say that? They said pop reports are coming soon, Nick. That was, I don't know, October? They sent out that press release saying that they're going to update the website and pop reports are coming soon. I genuinely think it was October that they sent out that press release. Like, it was a while ago now.
$30.
Gremlins for 2600 is absurdly rare. I thought they only made like 10k copies. Okay, that's what I was thinking of Chokeslam before I saw that this was a 5200 release. $720 for the 9.6 NS. Because I thought I remembered that Gremlins on 2600 was very rare.
Fair warning.
Here is Pac-Man for the 5200, 9.4 no seal for 240. I don't know where we might see a 5200 game pop here. Oh, there's only a few more actually. Oh, there's only one more. Two more. Then we go to 7800 for one game. Then we enter into ColecoVision a little bit. Then in Television a little bit. Then we're almost done. Almost done here tonight, everybody. Popeye though, 9.8A plus, 5200. This one is getting a bit of love here. The box back is assembled upside down on this one too. Another upside down box there. That's crazy. Same with this one. Box back assembled upside down.
85.
As if this is like somewhat...
95.
I don't want to say it's somewhat common, but I'm surprised to see that it's happened so many times, I guess. Like, it seems like something you'd catch. You know what I mean?
$70.
The game predated the movie, so I can't remember the reason why so few were made. It might have been just super close to the 5200 release date, or maybe they asked to hold back for the movie release. That's crazy that the game predated the movie. Like, that's just crazy. It doesn't really make any sense. You know what I mean?
Fair warning.
Why would you put out the game before the movie's even out? I guess maybe in case the movie flops, but like, it just seems ass backwards. It seems like you're, you know, not taking advantage of your hype of the movie. Donkey Kong 7800 here, 9.4 A plus plus.
$340.
Anyone here collect 5200 or 7800? Do any of you guys dabble in these two consoles? I'm genuinely curious. My guess would be no. I would just assume none of you guys do, but maybe.
Next lot.
Video games were once hot enough to serve as the advertisement for the movie. Wow. This again just looks rare. Remember I said that before? Like, this just looks rare. Campaign 84 for the ColecoVision. Easily one of the harder games to find. It's a 9.0. Is it a CIB? No, it has to be NS, but why aren't I seeing the NS there? This game is unusual. Players attempt to raise funds, increase their popularity.
$7.
Why did this look like it's not?
$220.
What's going on here with this? It is CIB.
Fair warning.
No, it's not. It's just mislabeled. Unopened. Yeah, just mislabeled, I guess, on the Wada label there.
$60.
It says CIB, but the back indicates it's sealed. I have to assume it is actually sealed. $600 though for Campaign 84.
Fair warning.
Frogger 2 3 deep for Coleco, 240. Here's Qbert on the Coleco. I actually always enjoyed collecting Coleco more than Atari. Don't know why. It always resonated with me more.
Fair warning.
Yeah, the Mario Bros went off, Simon. It went for $3,600, which compared to the comps it has is not good at all.
Fair warning.
You have a prototype for the game for $2,600. You bought it because it was dated on the. It was dated on my day of birth. So I looked up the movie and it was released later. I want to say Gremlins was 84 in theaters. That's crazy, Chokeslam. That's cool that you have a prototype for the game. Here's Qbert's Cubes again, this time on the Coleco.
$120.
I talked about how rare this game is over on Atari. I don't know if that rarity translates to Coleco, but at least some of the value does. 9.68 plus
Fair
here.
warning.
And the normal Qbert sold for 94.
Next lot.
You've dabbled and have some games for all 5 of the main Atari consoles. Never got to the point of owning full sets for them. You don't have any firm understanding of what is even out there for them. Yeah, me neither. Ah, here's War Games, 9.2 no seal. Talked about this one earlier.
Next lot.
It actually didn't even do bad.
$240.
Sold for $660 there to get the War Games. Pretty cool. Moving into Intellivision now. That was the Coleco lot there. This is Intellivision now.
Next lot. $55. $60.
5200 was your first console. You have most of the game CIB. It literally said no seal, was never sealed, sold in an unsealed box. Yeah, JJCC, it should have NS on it though. If that's the case.
$80.
Like you see on War Games here, there's a big ass NS. So that other game where I was talking about it said CIB right here, which is contradictory labeling on the, like, the Wada label contradicts itself, is why it stood out to me. Armor Battle in 9.68 plus just sold for $276. Here's Frogger, 9.4A plus for the Intellivision.
Next lot. $900.
Yeah, I think there is only like 50 games for Atari 5200. There's just like not many at all. You've been finding it very hard to sell graded games right now. I recently auctioned a Wada 7.5 Rising Zan on PS1 and it went for $62. Whew.
Next lot.
Whew. That's a tough one, Warehouse Dave.
$130.
That's a tough one.
Fair
Masters of the Universe He-Man there. I completely missed that. I was reading the chat. Went off for Intellivision. Still sold for $3,120. 9.4A plus. Wow. That's crazy. He-Man love is alive and well. Here's Scooby-Doo's Mystery Chase. It's only a CIB though. Well, unless they screwed up the labeling on this now again. No, this one's actually CIB. Okay. Got me all worried now.
$130. $140.
Yeah, that's what I thought. First game based on the Scooby-Doo franchise. I didn't want to say it until I confirmed, but that's what I thought.
$60.
Does that depend on sticker seal versus no sticker seal? Well, all of the glued shut games, JJ, should have NS. If there is a sticker seal on it, it will have a sticker seal grade. So any of these like glued shut lids should all say NS. And then if it does have a sticker seal on it, which I don't think many Atari and Intellivision Coleco does, but if it did, it would get a seal grade if it has a sticker. And then of course Cellophane gets a seal grade as well. What is Scooby-Doo's full name? Is that actual trivia right there, Simon? Because if so, I can't tell you.
Next lot.
If that's some Scooby-Doo trivia right there, I'm stumped. There's so much NOS of Intellivision games. Yeah, it really does matter what you're looking at. I know that as well there, Warehouse Dan. Even CIB Intellivision, there's a lot of it out there. Like Scooby-Doo's Maze Chase, though, 8.5 CIB went for $288. So, Sea Battle went for $288 there. Here's Skiing, 9.68++. Space Hawk Solar Strike coming up. Yeah, and television is interesting. There's also some, like, you know, like every other console, Intellivision has some really rare games as well. A lot of the INTV published games are pretty damn rare on Intellivision. You can kind of just look for that, not publisher, I guess publisher. INTV, most of their games are expensive. Same on the Cave Disaster videos, you're getting recommended them now? Dive down the rabbit hole, Daniel. They're great. They'll spend your whole night on them.
Fair warning.
You think a lot of the sealed market is tied to the crypto and stock market? When middle-class amateur investors are making easy money in the market, they're spending their gains on sealed games? Well, I think it goes everywhere. Like, you know, once we're in a euphoric stock market, a euphoric crypto market, people are just loose with their money. Like you said, right? Everyone was winning. Like, it was the easiest money that, like, anyone has ever seen in their lives, right? There's literally no losing, so as the stock market now corrects, as crypto now corrects, like, everything is going down. It's not even that video games are, like, weak right now. It's everything is weak right now. You know what I mean? It'd be much more concerning if only video games were dropping. That's when it's like, oh shit, what's going on here? But, like, tell me something that isn't dropping at this point.
$80.
I'm gonna go with Scoobert Do B. Scoobert Do, lock it in, Simon. Skiing is also getting some love here. 9.68++. You have 152 unique Intellivision games on your list? Damn, that's actually, like, kind of big. That's actually kind of a big library.
Fair warning.
You're in this market and crypto, hoping to buy at the bottom and ride them both to the top.
Next lot.
Godspeed, Daniel.
$26.
Make sure to do your dollar cost averaging.
$30. $34. $38. $42.
Oh yeah, the auction total there, almost 150,000 worth of pre-Nintendo games sold. Damn, Power Collectors, I'm glad you pointed that out. Almost $150,000 worth of pre-Nintendo games sold tonight. That's crazy. That's crazy. Well, the fact that some of these high sold items are starting to pop up more doesn't help either, like Mario 64. Oh no, absolutely, JJCC. 100%. There are also individual games in this market that are being hit by oversaturation. It's inevitable, right? The backlog was cleared, people sent shit in. We're learning real rarity of these items.
Fair warning.
You know, it is what it is.
Next lot.
Scuba Doo, there we go. Nailed it, baby. Maybe I did know that in the back of my mind. Maybe I did know that answer. But yeah, JJ, like, saturation of certain games are plummeting them.
$160.
Unless you're sitting on something like a 9.88++ or something truly rare, best to just not grade. I disagree with that. I disagree with that. Cost basis matters much more than the actual game you're grading, as well as grade does. Like, it still is better in a lot of instances if you know what you're doing to send your game off for grading first before selling it raw. In most instances, you'll do better. You'll at bare minimum get the cost of grading out. But there were so many people who just sent shitty games off to be graded during the boom. Like, games that just have no, like, you shouldn't grade, you know what I mean? And those are now where we're seeing a lot of this market, the market saturation. This was a Magnavox Odyssey 2, VGA 75, uncirculated, qualified. A qualified Odyssey 2. That's actually really fucking cool. First time they've offered an Odyssey 2, of course. Yeah, it's just really cool. It's just really cool to see a qualified Odyssey 2. But that is the close of the auction. You made it through without spending any money, you and me both. The same happened with Pokemon? Yeah, for sure. You started with Pokemon cards and crypto, then NFTs, and a few months ago I started with sealed and CIB video games. The thing I fall in love with them, and now I want to keep it all. Yeah, that's my issue too, man. That's my issue too. It's hard to stay disciplined when you're collecting, investing, buying, selling stuff that you truly love. Here are the big winners of tonight's auction. At the very top, we have X-Man. Early Atari porn game there for $7,800. Kind of crazy. It's kind of crazy that X-Man took down the auction tonight. Who had that one on your bingo card? Masters of the Universe He-Man takes second place at $5,000 on the 9.4A Plus. Adventure as well with the 8.0 No Seal Glue Seal for $4,000. Ghostbusters, of course, extremely popular IP, $4,000 as well for the 9.4A Plus there. Hero, 9.8A Plus, also for $3,840. This is the one that I really thought was going to be the biggest one tonight. The Mario Bros. 8.5A Plus Silver Box First Production. Only brought in $3,600 tonight. I had big expectations. This was my pick for biggest auction item of the night. As you can see, it's my thumbnail. I had big expectations for Mario Bros, but not tonight. You just never know with the open auctions. And on the other side of the auction, the lowest item tonight, $77 for Human Cannonball 6.0 No Seal Glue Seal, 1978 brown box, Human Cannonball, baby. $77. The box art evoking Evil Knievel by Chris Spohn. What a beauty. Let me leave y'all with that as we call a close on the Showcase Summer Auction. Whew! Thank you all for being here tonight. Sorry about the technical difficulties. I hate that just as much as you guys do, so it's just a real kick in the nuts when stuff like that happens. But I hope you guys had a good night. I hope you enjoyed the auction. Thank you to Heritage for sponsoring the auction. Thank you all for showing up tonight. Next auction is on Tuesday, regular scheduled time. And yeah, see you guys Tuesday. Thanks for coming out tonight. Hopefully if you want some Atari stuff, you're very happy with your purchases. I know some of you guys did. Take care, everyone. Have a good night.